maybe you thought even crossed the line, that maybe you felt you needed to pull back a little bit?
Yeah, actually not me, but the writer, Alex Larson.
Right.
He's a battle rapper, and this is a battle rapper who insults people for a living. And these guys, I mean, it's just bloody and ugly. I mean, it's a dog eat dog, right?
Yeah, you kind of say what you want. You kind of say anything, you kind of go for it. You don't really supposed to hold back, but I guess you got to a little bit for the film.
Yeah, well, like when he did the last draft of the like final act of the movie, he wrote something was missing. He actually didn't write where Adam was after Ben Grimm's daughter. And I told him, you've got to do this. He goes, it's too mean. I'm like, no, write it. You're a battle rapper. Write mean, you know? And so he had to go back in there and add that. He literally was too afraid to write those lines.
That's the reality. Is if you got people that pass, that's people use that in the battle.
I was going to ask you, do people tend to like try to keep, at least make an effort to keep their private lives private?
You got to keep your private life, because everything is up for grabs. Everything. And it got to be used because these people are going to enjoy it and laugh, and it's used against you forever. So, got to.
Is this the first time you're seeing the movie, or?
Second time I seen it in LA.
I'm just curious what your overall reaction is to it.
Oh, my overall reaction to it, I'm glad they touched on some points, you know, like the things that we have to like even keep in your personal life personal. Stuff like that, the premeditate, like before the battle you see, they was going through their head, their rhymes real fast and hard. That's what we go through 3 hours before we even touch the stage. So it's very strenuous on the brain.
We have a microphone set up over here if anyone has questions, comments. Mostly try to make your questions in the form of questions, if you can. Tell me about where did you find your Adam? Where did you find, because I don't think he's done a whole lot in this country. He's Canadian, right? Like, I don't think we've seen him very much, but
I did a casting call for this movie, and it was very interesting. Like literally every actor in Hollywood turned us down. Like literally, because all the white male actors are afraid of this script because they say some nasty thing. Adam has to say the N-word. Adam has to say gay jokes. Adam is not a good guy, right? He says all sorts of crazy shit. And literally every actor in Hollywood, even actors that you think would need a role like this, we're all like, they're pussy, you know? And actually, I'll tell you, one actor plays the Flash on CW. I don't remember his name. He actually signed on for a month and a half, and I thought, wow, I actually have a real actor, because one of the biggest problems in detention is that you don't know anybody in the movie, right? And I was like, you need a fucking actor to actually sell the movie. That's what the distributors care, right? And so I thought, well, he has a name, and he dropped out like a week before I'm supposed to fucking shoot, because he got cold feet. And then I went on this massive thing looking for every young actor, and Adam, his name is Calvin Worthy. He's a Disney star. He's on this show called Austin Alley for Kids, and he wanted to change his image, and he loved the script, and he just trusted me. He said he loved my work, and he trusts me. And so this, and he was not afraid to be a villain, which is amazing. I mean, are these guys trying to be actors or not?
all right, wait, that's okay.
I'm just curious how this process compared to all your other projects. Was it harder to gain money, harder to gain distribution, being like such an easily offensive genre?
You know, like my last movie I shot was 2010, right? This thing was shot in 2016. So the money is between 2010 and 2016 to make this movie. So that's what that is. So it took me 6 years to fucking save up for this movie. Shooting it felt actually easier than detention this time because I feel like every time I make something, I become just better at it. And so on a day-to-day basis, it felt kind of easy to shoot. Whereas for some reason, detention felt like every setup was like torture. This one felt faster and more efficient, and I just felt like a more confident director.
But you said earlier that even your visual style you feel has changed between the movies and even since shooting this movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, this one specifically, I wanted to get down, and like, it's kind of boring for an audience, but it's like kind of like my thing. Like, I really wanted to focus on the subjectivity and objectivity of the camera work in terms of the perspective of like who gets an over the shoulder, you know, whose point of view are we telling the story through, in what scene, how do we wrap it up, and how do we switch the objectivity, when do we make a judgment call? And it was like a deeper form of film grammar that it's more subtle, but it took a lot of revamp. And if you watch the movie again, you'll see that there's points where there's locked off cameras and it goes to a handheld camera in the same scene, in the same shot. It was like all this like subtle work that I wanted to do, because at the end of the day, it's a talking head movie. And talking head means there's two people communicating, and how do you make it cinematic? And it was like a big obsession for me.
Yeah.
Hi, Joseph Kahn. I've known you since your time at HSI Productions. I'm just wondering, how has your work changed since your time with HSI Productions? Maybe we take a picture after this.
You have to take a picture. How's my work? When did I leave HSI? I think I left HSI in 2015. Not that long. And I think my work has gotten more calibrated for perspective, because that's the focus that I've been on for the last 5 years, in terms of like the subjectivity of it. I feel like it's much more subjective now than it's ever been.
Thank you very much.
All right, now we got a line.
I would have to rewatch to know when or what significant moments this was happening at, but I was just curious, what was the significance of the black cat that was seen running through several scenes?
I know, and it was like a problem on set because it kept coming up on set. I couldn't do anything, just had the camera roll.
It was like Photoshop.
You were hoping for some deep sympathy.
Person behind me, so I'll ask a question. Yeah, I don't know, it's a movie that like was dealing with this really difficult thing of trying to create space for psychological safety. I guess how did you think about how to coming from the white chick? How did you think about how to like include women in it? Because and I'd say I didn't. It's not that I didn't feel offended. I just felt like equal and like neutral. So how did you do that?
Well, okay, so we knew there is a dialogue about white feminism versus female black feminism in there. It's not spelled out, but you can definitely see it in terms of the interaction. And more importantly, you know, if I've done my job correctly, hopefully in this movie, you'll see that there are certain judgment calls you make early on in the movie that you're absolutely, like for instance, you absolutely hate Maya, right? She's a villain. But also, by the end of the movie, as much as you hate her, she has a point, right? And she's actually kind of justified by the end, but then you still hate her, right? So it's a movie of contradictions, which I feel any dialogue today is. Like, if you really look at the dialogue of any politics today, one person says a fact, another person makes a counterfact, another makes a counterfact. That feeling you had back in like 10 years ago when you're on a message board and you would just argue and someone would just keep countering, that's this movie. It keeps countering and countering and countering. Maya is a counter on a counter on a counter.
Well, are there more women than we're, I guess this is a question for our friend whose name I forgot.
Big T.
Are there, is one woman rapper in
It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. It's a whole industry of them. And they tough.
I was wondering, like Adam's crew is like an Asian guy, black girl, white guy. Anthony Michael Hall in the movies. Is there like a little gang supposed to be like a breakfast clubby? How did you decide to make them crew?
Well, okay, so the Battle Rap League that we're basing it off is actually on a defunct league called Prime Time that was based in San Francisco a couple years ago. Do you rap with them? Yeah, later. And they were kind of a more multicultural league because of the way California is. But you know, there's still like there's definitely like different leagues out there. Some are like more black leagues, some are like slightly white leagues, and multicultural leagues. But this is based a little bit more of an idealized league where everybody's in there. But you do see that, like you'll see people with different races go in and battle each other. There may not be a crew that exists that's that perfectly cast, you know. But we're making a fucking movie, you know.
At the events is like that. Like those guys, I can specifically probably tell you it's a battle that kind of reminded me of that. And it's like that at the atmosphere where all the races get together. It's not really no big deal.
And the other thing, I think that's interesting about it is, one of the questions people always wonder about is like, why do they say these things? Like why do people suddenly say all these racist things towards each other? So why are they getting along and stuff like that? Because at the end of the day, one thing I've noticed about like doing rap videos in like poor neighborhoods, like race is there, it does exist, and a lot of times race intersects in interesting ways. Like for instance, there are Mexican neighborhoods and black neighborhoods, and they intersect each other, and there's poor Asian neighborhoods. And if people fight, you're gonna fight with like guns and knives and fists, or you might use words. And quite frankly, the rapping, the battle rap is the safest form of confrontation. It is the safest form. It may be the most critical form because they're at least having a dialogue.
Anyone else? Last chance? Wrapping it up? Okay, that's a good, okay, then we're ready to, we could probably stop this. Guys, thank you. Actually, Joseph, and I'm assuming you as well, T, will, they're gonna be in the lounge, hanging out, if you guys wanna say hi. We gotta clear this out. Guys, thank you so much for coming.